It was a late night, and the studio lights were blinding as the audience buzzed with excitement. The host, Ethan Carter, stood behind his desk, adjusting his tie. The cameras rolled, capturing the bright set of the late evening show as the live audience settled into their seats. Tonight was no ordinary episode, and everyone knew it. Tonight, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, was the guest, and this interview would go down in history for reasons no one could have predicted. Ethan smiled at the camera. "Good evening, folks. We've got a special guest tonight, one who needs no introduction. She's made waves in Washington, she's fought for the people, and today she's here to talk about something entirely unexpected. Please welcome the one and only Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez." The crowd erupted in applause as Alexandria, dressed in a sleek black dress and a sharp blazer, walked onto the stage with her signature, confident stride. Ethan rose from his seat to greet her, shaking her hand warmly. "Thank you so much for being here, Alexandria. I know you've been a prominent figure in the political landscape, but tonight we're going to take a bit of a detour, aren't we?" Ethan said with a grin. Alexandria smiled, her eyes lighting up. "That's right, Ethan. I'm happy to be here and talk about something that's very personal to me." Ethan raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "Something personal? Well, that's something we're not used to hearing from you. Usually it's all about the policies, the bills, the speeches. But tonight, you're here to talk about faith. Now, that's not something many people would expect from you, is it?" Alexandria leaned forward, looking reflective. "I know, Ethan. Politics is my public life. But like everyone else, I have my own personal journey, one that involves struggles, doubts, and yes, faith." The studio went quiet as the audience was immediately drawn into her sincerity. "I want to share something with you," Alexandria continued, her voice softening. "A story that not many people know. It's about a time when I almost lost everything, when it seemed like there was no way out, no way to continue, and how, in that moment of darkness, a single prayer changed everything for me." The audience was captivated. Ethan's expression softened as he nodded. "Go ahead, Alexandria. We're listening." Alexandria took a deep breath, clearly preparing herself to relive a painful memory. "It was just before I got into politics. I was struggling, financially and emotionally. I'd just lost my job and my dreams of making a difference seemed impossible. I was living in a tiny apartment in the Bronx, feeling like the walls were closing in on me." She paused, her eyes staring off into the distance, as though seeing that moment again. "I didn't know how I would make ends meet. My bank account was practically empty, and I was already behind on rent. I was so scared. I thought I'd have to leave New York City and go back home, feeling like a failure." The audience listened intently, the weight of her words sinking in. "But that's when I reached out in prayer. I hadn't been someone who actively prayed before. I wasn't sure how to do it or if it would even help. But in that moment of desperation, I got down on my knees and asked God for guidance. I asked for strength to keep going, even though I didn't feel like I had any left." Ethan's eyes widened, clearly moved by her vulnerability. "So, this is where the miracle happens, right?" Alexandria nodded, her voice trembling slightly. "Yes. The next day, I got a phone call that changed my life. It was from a political mentor who had been watching my community activism for a while. They offered me a job on their campaign. It wasn't much at first, but it was enough to help me get back on my feet. And from there, everything just snowballed." She looked up at Ethan, her eyes glistening with emotion. "I don't know how to explain it, but I truly believe that prayer gave me the strength I needed to persevere. It was the turning point in my life, and I've never forgotten it." Ethan was silent for a moment, processing what she had just shared. Finally, he leaned forward, breaking the tension. "That's an incredible story, Alexandria. But I have to ask, how has your faith influenced your work in politics?" AOC smiled softly, her eyes shining. "It's been everything. Faith has given me the courage to fight for what I believe in. It's what keeps me grounded when the political landscape feels overwhelming. It reminds me that there's more to life than just the bills and policies. It's about people, real people, with real struggles. Faith helps me see that, and it keeps me going when I feel like giving up." She paused, her voice growing stronger. "I know that not everyone shares the same faith or belief system, and I respect that. But for me, it's a core part of who I am. It's a source of strength, hope, and love. And I try to carry that into every decision I make, every fight I take on." Ethan nodded, clearly moved. It's not easy to open up about something so personal, especially in the world of politics. But I think you've just done something that will resonate with a lot of people tonight. The audience applauded, some wiping away tears, as Alexandria continued, her voice steady but filled with passion. "I believe that faith, in whatever form it takes, can be a powerful force for good. It's not just about religion, it's about kindness, compassion, and standing up for what's right. And I'll keep fighting for those values every single day." The interview was groundbreaking for many reasons, but perhaps the most striking part of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's confession was her willingness to share such a deeply personal moment. Her story wasn't just about politics or policy, it was about her humanity. In a world where politicians are often seen as distant figures, focused only on their careers, Alexandria's faith confession brought her closer to the hearts of many. Her story reminded us that even the most successful and powerful individuals go through moments of crisis where they feel lost and vulnerable. In those moments, it's easy to forget about hope, but Alexandria's story is a reminder that it's precisely in those dark moments that faith can shine through. But what can we learn from her experience? First, it shows us the power of vulnerability. By opening up about her struggles, Alexandria broke down the walls that often separate politicians from the people they serve. It's a call for more honesty in public life, a reminder that our leaders are, at the end of the day, human beings who experience the same challenges, fears, and doubts that we all face. Second, the story highlights the importance of hope and resilience. Alexandria didn't give up. She didn't let her struggles define her. Instead, she turned to faith and found the strength to keep going. And that's something we can all relate to, no matter our beliefs. We all face obstacles, but it's our ability to hold on to hope that ultimately determines our success. Finally, Alexandria's faith story is a call to action. It reminds us that there's more to life than politics or success. It's about connection, compassion, and making a difference in the world. Whether through faith, kindness, or service, we all have the power to impact others positively. As the interview came to an end, Alexandria's words lingered in the air. The audience was quiet, reflective, and deeply moved by her honesty. As she stood up to leave the stage, the applause thundered in the studio, louder than it had been all night. Ethan turned to the camera, his voice filled with admiration. "Well, there you have it, folks. A side of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez you may not have seen before. A story of faith, resilience, and hope. And a reminder that even in our darkest moments, there is always a way forward." Thank you for sharing that with us, Alexandria. With one last wave to the audience, Alexandria exited the stage, her head held high. And as the lights dimmed, the world outside the studio seemed just a little bit brighter. What this story teaches us is simple. No matter where we come from, what we believe, or what we face, we are all capable of miracles, especially when we have faith in something greater than ourselves. Let's keep the conversation going. Subscribe, share, and drop your thoughts below. Your perspective is valuable and might inspire others.